Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of social media. This case is Majid versus Meta. It is a case that's currently in arbitration and was filed by the Council on American Islamic Relations in Texas. This case is about a company that said it had a rule that it said it applied to everyone neutrally. But a rule is not neutral just because the employer labels it a neutral rule. A rule is neutral when it is applied, even when the speaker changes. A rule is not neutral because it is in the handbook and could be read any kind of way. A rule is neutral when it is carried out by people in a neutral fashion. So let's get into what the neutrality was that was violated in this case. Mohammed Faraz Majid was a Muslim employee at Meta in Austin. According to the complaint on file, he was hired in 2018. He received internal awards. He was promoted. He worked there for years and he led a team. He had a good relationship with his company and with his staff until the company reached a fork in the road. That fork in the road was October 7th, 2023. You see, after that date, Mr. Majid posted on his social media prayers, religious prayers for the victims of the war taking place in Gaza. He additionally carried a kufiya on his body when he was on video calls and proudly placed a flag of his country, Palestine, in the background. People at Meta had to decide in that moment whether they were going to apply a policy neutrally or not. You see, at Meta, employees were always allowed to talk about concerns of theirs and the issues of the day. Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, the war in Ukraine, other victims of conflict abroad, and the diasporatic or refugee status of those communities. Everything under the sun, except for when it came to the religious convictions of a Muslim worker. You see, when Majid spoke about his faith in connection with what was taking place in Gaza, Meta allegedly removed the content that he shared on internal forums. Meta investigated him. Meta reprimanded him, and Meta warned him after disciplining him that he needed to keep his kufiya and his Palestine flag out of view entirely. That is very simply where the path diverged. The lawful road was simple. Apply the same rule that let everybody at the company discuss all their issues, but don't call it community when those people talk and disruption when a Muslim employee acting in response to his religious belief speaks out against violence and war. Now, to be fair, the complaint that is on file is very narrowly written. Again, he's not alleging a hostile work environment. It is not this rampant discrimination. It is a very narrow question. Was this neutral policy applied improperly with respect to him because of his religious identity and the connection of that religious identity to issues of the day? The key takeaway from this case, which is now in arbitration, where it will likely be resolved confidentially and out of the view of the public, because that's how arbitration agreements work with big tech companies in 2026, it is really important to understand that discrimination does not start on the day of termination. It can start well before it when the company begins to mark you and make a record of your behavior because of your exercise of your faith. It can begin when the company in its strategy sessions are planning and deciding which cultural or religious symbols you must hide. It can begin when your prayer is treated as a policy problem, when others' employee crises because of whatever's going on in their world or the culture or background or countries they come from is treated as normal. Yes, Meta will say that it had a policy. Every company says that they had a neutral policy. The question is whether or not the people implementing that policy on page 32 of the handbook did so neutrally, like the policy called for. If you found this video helpful, interesting, and exciting, or you're aware of other cases that need to be reviewed like this, I am preparing to present at a conference on Islamophobia in the workplace, and I'd be very happy to not only learn of the cases you're aware of, but maybe do a presentation of them here on this channel. Please follow along and send any suggestions our way. Thank you.